He's also talking about the Jets bandwagon. Okay, who is that? Chris Healy and a few people.
No, there's a lot of people.
My buddy Stu.
There's a lot of people on this, man.
Fireman
a lot of
Ed.
people.
There's like
Schrager picked him to be the 1 seed, him to be the MVP.
That was a low point for Schrager.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm just telling you what he did. We love Schrager. Greenberg picked him. There's a lot of people picked him.
We just named him one.
I picked him to win the
The
division.
messaging, that was bad too. The messaging was always going to be, if we won, we're going to the Super Bowl. If we lose, we're blank. Come along for the ride, though. If you want to jump off now, jump off, but then don't come back. He said that to Pat McAfee. Your reaction?
Look, I picked him to win the AFC East. I'm not jumping off the bandwagon. I don't have him going to the Super Bowl or anything like that, but I got him winning the division. But even so, Aaron Rodgers needs to be more humble. At this stage of his career, and I get the ego that in a lot of cases is necessary for a superstar, you know, to get to that level,
yeah.
You have to have this huge ego, this I can do what everybody thinks I can't do, all of that. I'm fine with that. But at this stage of his career, he needs some humility because the last year, his last season in Green Bay, and this year, so his last 18 games, if we count the playoffs, he's thrown for 250 yards one time in his last 10 games.
Yeah.
Wait till you see
I'm sorry, one time in his last 14 games.
Yeah.
He hasn't done, you talk about 300.
Yeah.
He hasn't thrown for 250 in his last 10 games. His last year in Green Bay, he averaged 217 yards a game.
I know.
He used to do that in his sleep.
Yeah.
No, and I'm not saying he's washed like you. I'm
not
just
saying he's washed, I'm
saying
just spitting facts.
show a little humility because if he falls flat on his face this year and he's just bad, he doesn't have it anymore, and the Jets are bad. If you show a little bit of humility, people are like, dude's 40, 41.
Bro,
no,
hold
on.
Ship has sailed.
Well, it sailed because he's being arrogant.
Okay,
but I'm saying, and I'm not asking, there's a fine line, there's a happy medium between admitting you're washed and you don't have it anymore and thinking you're the same guy. You're still that MVP. Find that happy medium
Russell
because if you fall on your face, there's a built-in excuse. You're 41. We get it. All right? But if you act arrogant like you're the same old guy, now we're going to be like, you failed. You couldn't get it done.
Do you want to go wild?
No.
Because also, here's the other thing. I didn't like the beginning of that quote when he's like, we knew the narrative was going to be if we win Super Bowl. Your messaging has been Super Bowl since the first press conference there, since leading into last year, then post-Achilles, you did more interviews saying a couple of Lombardis. That's not a media creation where it was going to, well, if we won, they were going to put this hype. You guys are the most all-in team in the league. And I disagree that if we lose, we're blank.
Nobody's saying you lose to San Francisco at home you can't.
Correct.
Trash.
Correct. But people are saying, well, it kind of went as badly as it could have in a lot of ways. I think people are saying of all the teams that played this weekend, there were only a half dozen that looked worse than the Jets. 3 of them, Carolina, the Giants, and Washington and the Raiders, 4, pardon me, that we don't expect anything of. And then 2 other teams that had real expectations, people are a little concerned. Atlanta, people are concerned. Cleveland, people are very concerned. Cincinnati, people are concerned.
Right.
So any team with expectations that lays an absolute egg in week 1, not just a loss, not 29-27 like the Colts lost to Houston, but the Jets from the second quarter until Rodgers got pulled allowed a 29-6 run. They scored 1 touchdown, and it was the Aaron Rodgers free play. Their defense allowed 8 consecutive scores. I understand it's only 1 week, but aside from major injury, it went about as poorly as one realistically could have anticipated. And so I'm not worried about the bandwagon piece of it. There is a level of, I would say, self-realization of, well, yeah, we're off to a very bad start.
Well, you don't want him to say that.
No.
But he doesn't have to challenge them. Get off the
correct.
bandwagon and don't get back on when we start. Just relax and be humble. I mean, relax. I didn't even, no pun intended.
Yeah,
but just be a little humble.
Yeah, I didn't want him to say that either. But it's exactly what Brew is saying. It's almost like you would be such an idiot.
Right.
To question us now. So just know if you do, we don't want you back, as opposed to, well, I don't know, man. It's the most tortured fan base, arguably, in all of sports. They have waited for decades for the savior at quarterback. They thought they were getting it last year. Through no fault of your own, they didn't. They thought they were getting it Monday night, and it looked a lot like games Jet fans have seen before. Tell them get off the bandwagon.
And he talked big and bad at the end of his Green Bay tenure, right?
He's been rolling against Miami. He's won 4 straight games against Tua. Tua's putting last year in the rearview window. Remember they had that bad rearview mirror? Or the
rearview mirror, but you're fine. Keep rolling.
Both the rearview.
We understood.
Rear window or rearview mirror, but just
Alfred
keep
Hitchcock
rolling.
movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, it's behind him.
There you go.
Take a listen.
That's going to be what's written out there until we do something about that. That's going to be the narrative, that we can't beat the Bills, and until we do beat them and we beat them consistently, like, none of that's going to change. And we have an opportunity to do that this year. We have an opportunity to do that this Thursday.
Okay. They also said something similar
last year. It was Mike McDaniel who said it. Yeah.
He's like, that's a narrative. Like, it's not narrative. It's just the facts. Okay. Who needs this game more, Buffalo or Miami?
All right. So it's obviously, incontrovertibly, and undeniably Miami.
True.
And the AFC East is fun for this show because the 3 of us have 3 different viable division winners. Jets, Dolphins,
I might
Bills.
want to amend.
Well,
mine.
wait. No. It's too late, and allow. And so
hometown team.
Hold on. So what did he say?
Hometown team.
Hometown team. Oh,
So
you know what? You can have the Patriots too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
you
fine.
can't
You
pick
just
the
can't go
Bills
to
or
exactly
the
right.
the Bills.
No, that's
You
fine.
cannot pick the Jets.
Trust
I know you
I
want
would not
to.
pick the Jets and held my feet over the fire.
So I would argue this is Miami's biggest game of the season.
Wow.
It's
Week 2?
Well, because of who it is and where it is. You are playing the 4-time defending division champs who you can't beat, and it's in your building. I just think in general, teams' biggest game, teams that aren't yet Super Bowl minted, that are still trying to prove they can win a division, their biggest game is against their biggest division rival at home. It's the game that is most critical to their success. And what Tua's saying, we've talked about it ad nauseum, but the facts bear it out. Tua in his career against playoff teams is not good. Against everyone else, he's excellent. That left-hand graphic is kind of a Josh Allen Bills graphic, though, because though that's 6-15 against playoff teams, if we just fast forward it to how he's done against the Bills, who have been a playoff team every year that he's played them, that's 1-6. So he's 5-9 against playoff teams, not the Buffalo Bills, which isn't great, but 1-6 with just terrible numbers. So, and Miami Wilds has so many advantages in this game. They're at home. It's a short week, which makes them being at home even more of an advantage. They are yet to go on the road this season. They have the emotional kick of stealing a win. And I think, sadly, the Tyreek thing was kind of a rallying moment for the team, which is why, Wilds, and this is a tough spot, but I have bad news for you. Gentlemen, because this is an upset alert and must win.
What?
It's an upset alert and a must win.
This past me.
Wilds.
Yesterday you did Bruce grades. Now you're doing my stuff.
I'm telling you. Oh, must win's yours. So I.
Oh yeah, must win is mine. And upset alert.
I ask you, Kevin Wilds, because I'm putting the Dolphins on upset alert, and I am asking you, Kevin Wilds, Miami Dolphins, must win.
No, it's week 2.
Oh! You won't even play along.
Yeah, you got to play along.
It's close to a must-win. It's very close. You weren't, oddly, even though Tua had a bunch of yards, it wasn't a wildly impressive win over the woeful Jaguars.
Oh, now you're with us. Now all of a sudden he's okay with a little eye testing.
No, but I expected them to roll the Jags or come out, all systems go, and they eked out a win that may have gone the other way with a fumble. It's close to a must-win. It's must-win adjacent. It's on the must-win bubble. But I'm not putting it in a must-win yet. But I do need Tua to have a solid win.
For you to
One win
believe
over
they
the
can
Prince,
win the conference, he has to play well against Buffalo.
it's close. I wasn't prepped for it, but it's very, very close.
It's not a must win, but it's a must win. There's a difference. Must win is literal must win. So there.